Guys, we have seen for months renders of every model of the Pixel 9. There are Pros, there are XLs, and there are Folds, but one thing we had not yet seen was a render of the upcoming Pixel Watch 3 that changes this morning. We have a tweet from Steve McFly on Leaks himself, so we're going to jump over to 91 Mobiles because, man, they've got another huge scoop. Before I go too far into this, I do want to encourage you guys to all go to the link in the description to 91 Mobiles. Go give them a click and go through this article. I'm just going to kind of show you some of the pictures, and we're going to talk about them. Exclusive Google Pixel Watch 3 first look revealed through renders in a 360 video. So the model that we're looking at here apparently has a 1.2-inch screen, which is the same size as what we have on the current Pixel Watch 2, which is what I am currently wearing. But they do mention later on that we are expecting to see two different sizes, maybe like an XL version. Finally, a larger size screen should be coming. We'll probably post renders for that tomorrow or something. You know that they have them. But we do also need to point out that it is going to be slightly thicker than the current Pixel Watch 2, but only slightly, and because the battery is only slightly bigger, like a couple of milliamp hours, so I think that's honestly going to be a negligible change. Of course, as you can see, this model is in that sort of black variant, which we've seen on some other of these Pixel Watches, but they do say that there are going to be some other colors coming at launch. I want to talk about the size of the bezel. It has the same bezel-less design as we've seen on the prior models, and it's hard to tell exactly, but I think maybe that's about where the bezel is, and if that's true, then what I'll say is they've not done as much as I would like to see the screen actually go further around the edges. Now, generally speaking, with these Pixel watches, because of the design, because you're probably using a black background watch face, that's how most of them look, you can't really see where the bezel is unless light hits it just right. But still, I would like to see it creep out further. I know that I normally talk about how I don't really care about bezels, but in this instance, I do think that this is a more aesthetic kind of device, right? Like, it's not a phone that you're holding, it's a watch that's on your wrist, and aesthetics are a big part of watches, so let's make it look a little bit nicer because there's no downside to shrinking those bezels. It doesn't look to me like they've done a whole lot of that. I will say that by and large, this thing does look like it is not changing a whole heck of a lot. They are really sticking with that same design that they've had, the same rotating crown here on the side, the same button that brings up your recently used apps. You can hold it and fire up Google Assistant. The back of it does look fairly similar. Maybe I'll throw up an image right now of what we currently have on the Pixel Watch 2. But it does look very similar, so you may not be getting a huge change in the sensors. I think that the biggest changes are going to come within the software and the internal hardware. Now, of course, Wear OS 5 is actually expected to launch with this Pixel Watch 3, and that's where a lot of the improvements are likely to be. Alongside things like an option for a grid-based app launcher, improvements to health services, improvement to running tracking, we are also expecting to see some pretty substantial improvements to efficiency. Google actually said that if you're running a marathon, you might finish with 20% better battery life than you would have prior, and that could be really important. My Pixel Watch 2 is already relatively close to a 2-day watch. I tend to end my day actually in the morning after sleeping with it on with somewhere around 20% battery left. I plug it in, and when I put it back on, I wear it for a full 24 hours. I could probably push it to 48 hours if I had to with an energy saver mode. If we can squeeze out 20% better efficiency, that could be really, really beneficial. We don't know a lot about the internals of the Pixel Watch 3. The current one is using the W5 processor. It wouldn't be shocking at all to see them use maybe the W5 Plus, which we have seen in some other smartwatches, just to kind of speed things up a little bit going from the 2 to the 3. But overall, I don't think that we're looking at a whole heap of a lot of changes with this Pixel Watch 3. It seems like Google is going to have another iterative release. But let me just kind of pump the brakes on what I just said actually a little bit. When we went from the 1 to the 2, it seemed very, very iterative. But as the Pixel Watch 2 stayed on the market for a while and it got software updates, my battery life improved significantly, and it has become one of my all-time favorite watches. So maybe we shouldn't underestimate the Pixel Watch 3 just yet. It doesn't on its face look like a massive change, but we won't have to wait too much longer into the fall alongside the Pixel 9 to find out exactly what's going on with it. Like I said, link in the description to the article. You can see all the renders and all the information they've posted right there. Do go click that link, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more content just like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friend.